standard Mathmech deck where you kind of focus on your compact, solid combo and then back that up with lots of hand traps.
Let's dive into game number 1 here between Matthew Chen and Toby Andrews. As we mentioned, Labyrinth is the play here for Matthew, who I think a lot of him and his friends actually have been quite sort of confident in this deck. You know, I know there's a lot of people running around from that London community who think that Labyrinth is definitely the call for this format.
Labyrinth is definitely a deck. I mean, those virus cards I think are the real payoffs for playing Labyrinth because they're just so impactful. I mean, I'm sounding like a broken record, I guess, talking about YCS London, but we saw somebody play this version of Labyrinth and activate 2 viruses on their opponent's first turn and discard their opponent's entire hand, which is pretty devastating.
Yeah, especially if you can and here Matthew has actually won the dice roll, so this is a really, I guess, important part of the duel because it's the stage where if you've opened well enough, you actually get a lot of information what your opponent's playing, and ooh, okay. Duel Lopper is actually quite good against this version.
I don't know. I don't think, because a lot of the cards, rather than adding cards, they set cards directly from your deck.
Right, okay. Well, so, it's not going to matter too much.
But you might as well use the draw, because your opponent might have Pot of Prosperity, for example.
Yeah. I mean, what else are you going to use it against?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? But 3 set cards is going to be enough here for Matthew to end his turn, and Toby's going to start off with Signet Mining.
I was wondering if that was happening in Matthew's end phase for a second, though, because he still had...
What is that he just discarded? Is that another driver?
That's another driver.
Right? It's hard to see with that glare here, but... Toby gets to search for a... Oh, he's going for Diameter. Yeah, so he's already got that circular. Diameter is your best normal summon. It's a special summon from the graveyard on your normal. And most important of all, it's got that very great negate effect. Negate effect for the material that it provides.
Yeah, it's a really tricky effect because it's giving the monster the effect, and it doesn't have to still be an XYZ material. And you can synchro with it. There is a Mathmech synchro as well. Matthew just saying, put the card on the field, then I'll do something.
You gotta love the sort of send for cost sort of ability that circular has, right? You know.
So we saw Ariana search Big Welcome, but that's the regular welcome. So we know Matthew's also got the Big Welcome face down, most likely, and he's chaining the effect of... I'm going to get the name wrong again. It's Lady. Is it this just Lady Labyrinth, and then the other one's called Lovely Labyrinth?
Good question.
Yeah.
This one is
Lady.
I think they're both Silver Castle, right?
Yeah.
Of sorts, right? The one I like to equate it to basically is I like to call it Multi-Faker.
Multi-Faker? I suppose it does special summon if you've used a trap card this turn. Yeah, that's fair.
All right, so Coup Clock is added.
So what do you call Ariana then? Is it the there's a 1600 that searches a trap in Altergeist as well.
Oh, Marionetta.
Yeah, there you go.
They're very similar decks.
I don't know what Coup Clock is though.
This is the one that lets you activate traps like that you search.
No, I know what Coup Clock does.
Oh, I don't know what more. Okay.
Melisika.
Do you like this? The punishment immediately on the special summon of Circular?
I think it's kind of like Mathmech just summon a lot of monsters, and most of the effects of the monsters are just to summon themselves. So I feel like it doesn't often matter which one you destroy. So I might be wrong. There might be an ideal time to do it.
This is the extra deck sort of build that Labyrinth has been accustomed to recently. Is they play it's a Tri-Brigade card that acts as like just essentially a very good divine punishment. Dogmatic punishment ability because it sends such a large monster. With the I forget, Tri-Brigade Buffo.
I'm not going to know its name. It's got 3,500 attack points.
So it's very large.
Yeah, when it's sent to the graveyard, you can send
another extra deck monster.
Is it another, or does it have to be like a Tri-Brigade? Like
it might have to be a Tri-type, but it sends Garura, which is like really good.
Which is what you want.
Yeah, so it gives you a draw there, as well as removing a monster that your opponent controls. And there goes the Sigma, which is banished when it leaves the field when special summoned from the graveyard if you do not control a monster in the extra monster zone. And we do know that Toby has another extender in play here. It's, oh, he was going for Small World here, okay. Small World,
this is the Small World Challenge. What is he going to get? Because he could get anything.
Well, I have seen typically they use this as a bridge between Jizukuru. But we're going for a level 8 wind monster with Parallel Exceed into Subtraction, or Addition, one of the other. And so that means we've got a normal summon, special summon, and extender. That's 3 bodies that still technically update access code that we still have. If this last set card is Big Welcome, right? So
Well, Big Welcome's in play already, so the last set is something...
Is this
that
unknown?
Yeah, I don't think we know what it is.
Okay. Well, point is that we do actually, have 3 materials. Oh, he's going to go for Lingeribo.
So you can make Lingeribo to begin with.
Yeah. So, and now from Lingeribo, which stops your opponent from, well, at least you can negate and banish your opponent's trap cards this turn. It means you can go into your Diameter here, revive, and we might see some sort of Alimbertion line here. Oh, he's playing
Nibiru
Nibiru
as well.
Wow.
Full complement of hand traps and regular traps, I suppose, from Matthew. This is all the cards gone for Toby. So
he's literally on 0 cards, correct?
Yeah, well, apart from this giant token, but I don't think the giant token will save him. Matthew, on the other hand, I think has got enough juice to keep going. So he's got the Big Welcome engraved, which will allow him to bounce the token. He's got an Ariana in hand that he returned to hand with Big Welcome. So I think he's happy just to grind this one out.
It'd be really funny if Matthew drew that Nibiru specifically off the Garura. I would be fuming if that was the case.
Well, I don't think you can really tell if you're Toby. Well, I don't think anyone will. I mean,
yeah,
Matthew
he had like
will
2
know.
cards in hands, right? So,
yeah,
only Matthew knows. Maybe we'll ask him after. I suppose the best thing about MathMech is that it does like play really well into Disruption. But usually like Effect Negates, Ash Blossoms, you just have like a lot of tools, but there's sort of like that choke point of Nibiru when you just have all of your bodies. You kind of sometimes can't really come back from that.
Yeah, and there's only like so much interruption you can play through. I mean, Matthew destroyed the first 4 monsters that Toby summoned, so I don't think... I mean, you can only be so good at pushing through interruptions, right?
Yeah, it's a lot to ask for, losing that dice roll. And Matthew kind of setting up most of what his deck is trying to do there with all of that disruption, coupled with the hand trap of Nibiru that he drew. Off to a good start, I think, right?
Yeah, just a very solid start. That's kind of what you want from Labyrinth, isn't it? You get to go first, you get to set up a few traps, activate all your traps, will out your opponent's cards, and then use your powerful engine to kind of grind the game out after that.
Droll and Lockbird not really being too much of an influence at all there, despite the fact you would really want to see that card in your opening hand, I think, this format.
You do against the sort of generic... If you don't know what you're playing, I'd love to have a Droll and Lockbird. If you know you're playing Labyrinth, I would hate to have a Droll and Lockbird. So it's, it's tricky, because again, like, Droll and Lockbird is a card... The reason it didn't see much play prior to Super Heavy Samurai was because it does have this sort of downside, is if your opponent only had 1 card to search, then it doesn't do anything. So you... In a situation like that, it really didn't look like it achieved very much, but I don't think it's like a deck building error. I think it makes a lot of sense for Toby to include in his deck, and I definitely advocate for most players to be running Droll and Lockbird in this format.
Very correct, very correct. I didn't pick up too much on the MathMech list and variant that he was playing, but one thing that I've been a fan of is the incorporation of the Link 5 monster, the brand new Firewall Tetrahertz.
Tetrahertz?
Yeah.
What does that one do?
I think it gains attributes, right? Based on, or that might be the...
Is that Dark Fluid?
Oh, he does that as well, but there's 2 new Firewall monsters.
There's Singularity as well.
Singularity, yeah. That's particularly good because it's a Link 6. I think there's like 3 of them in the game. But that turns on Dunmari if you're playing an Ignister engine. Although I feel like Ignister is definitely a horrible choice this format because of Droll and Lockbird. And Riseheart. So shout outs to any Ignister players who've been trying Singularity. I'm with you.
I love seeing. I think it looks really cool. The fact that you can make regular Firewall Dragon and then make it link up into Singularity and then bring back the regular Firewall Dragon. That's great.
I didn't actually check if Toby was playing the Firewall main deck monsters that have just been released.
I think I had a look and didn't see them.
Yeah,
but that might be my inability to recognize the pictures.
Yeah, so we've seen like a couple of Cyburst decks recently over the last couple of weeks. Through various regionals and such. They've been playing the main deck Firewall monsters because they let you just like link climb quite easily. Firewall Defender, usually play like a 3-1 ratio or something like that. But Toby's kind of just going with good old sort of noodle soup MathMech, you know what I'm saying?
Good old MathMech.
Yeah. Not a great start here actually for game 2 as we've just normal summon Diameter and not used the effect.
This to me is looking like a Parallel Exceed, yeah.
Okay, well at least you get your Alimbertion, so that's really important and good enough, I guess.
It still lets you get to your Super Factorial.
Is it full combo? Because I'm not sure if you can search Factorial since you control an EM. How do you trigger the Circular in this instance if you control a monster in your extra monster zone?
You can just tribute it, can't you?
Oh yeah, Almirage can just clear itself.
Yeah, it can just tribute itself.
Okay.
Very handy
Should
effect,
be fine.
apparently. Don't want you anymore. Off you go.
Imperm comes down on Alimbertion. That's very strong, actually, because If we don't have another body, then we can't even make, I suppose, maybe Wicked into Masquerena. But at the very least, I think this deck will always be able to go Heat Soul, which is a great backup plan. Yeah, it looks like we are going for that. Here's the Splash Mage. Oh, wow, that's a Bestial.
The Bestials, I think people were siding these specifically to deal with Mathmeg, which it is very devastating. Like, I know people call them giant DD Crows, but they are like giant DD Crows, and you get an extra one for next turn as well.
Yeah, no, that is a huge Bestial here. Let's see if we have an extender. We do have an extender still. Toby still is able to keep going through 2 hand traps, actually. Alan Birch and Splash Mage being linked away now. Is there more, or do we think this is it with Heat Soul? It is going to be enough with Heat Soul. So despite Matthew's efforts to stop Toby from playing here, he will at least Pot of Greed.
Good Pot of Greed is a good consolation prize.
For 2,000 life points only.
Unfortunately, you don't get the second draw until your opponent's turn, which is, it's not as fun as having it on your own turn.
Not immediately drawing here. No back row to set from Toby, it looks like.
It looked like an end phase kind of motion, and Matthew just getting that search.
Yeah, there's Baldrake, which, can he summon it now in the end phase if he wants to?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how much you really want to load up your field with, oh, here comes the
old Imperm Faker, as you...
All right, draw for turn, and let's see if Toby wants to use his own his own Heat Soul in this standby phase here. Try and draw another card. Doesn't look like it. We're in the main phase. Okay, we're in battle phase, and now we're drawing. Okay, so 3 cards in hand. He's going to survive, at least.
You think that was battle phase?
I think it's battle phase, yeah. Looked like Matthew motioned an attack.
There was a definite motion, but I suppose the players know.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
All right, well, not even a normal summon Ariana, I guess, from Matthew. Potentially loaded up with more hand traps.
He can complain.
Yeah, he's in a pretty commanding spot
his opening hand. Like he ended his opponent's first turn with more monsters in play than his opponent did.
Not even having to trade a token or anything. So Toby gets to have another chance here to push through, this time contending with back row, which is going to be quite scary.
This is very tricky as well, because he knows his opponent's last card is the Bestial Baldrake. So even a Mathmeg Circular would get shut down because we wouldn't be able to summon the Sigma from the graveyard.
Okay, so that's kind of cool. We've got Gamma in the hand, but it's going to be quite hard to force out a monster effect here. So activates the Sigma, attempting to special summon, hoping that Matthew responds with something in response to the Sigma activating in the hand here.
That would be very generous of him, but
doesn't look like
I guess
it.
He doesn't have any monster.
Yeah, so that Gamma's probably just going to be dead this turn now, unfortunately for Toby, not able to bait Matthew into responding.
So what do you think is the line for Toby here? He's got the Sigma, he's got a Gamma.
Summon update, summon transcode, summon access.
That seems to be your go-to.
I mean, why not, right? It's three monsters is all you need. That's addition or subtraction. I always get them mixed up, but regardless, they do say special summon, so not too bad here.
I think that one's subtraction.
Okay.
But I might be completely wrong.
Well, if it's subtraction, I assume that Lovely Lady has now had her attack points reduced by 1,000.
Unfortunately, you can't target a Lovely Lady while your opponent controls.
Oh, of course, yeah. That's true. Wow, she is quite a tank, isn't she?
She is quite a tank. She's got a lot of attack and cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects while you control face down cards. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, this is why people opt to just play a Labyrinth minimal core with a bunch of hand traps, some trap cards. Even without the furniture, you can just kind of play Labyrinth control with Silver Castle, and it's sometimes good enough. Another disruption here. Infinite Impermanence activates.
The only piece of furniture we've seen so far was the Kuklok. And it was pretty useful, to be fair. It was like an extra trap card you could activate that turn.
I suppose if you could fit some sort of Primal Being token in your house, that might be considered furniture, but that's as close as it's gotten, I feel, for Matthew. Not necessary, he hasn't been required to unlock his full power.
He's just playing on easy mode at the moment. Huh?
It's a very commanding position, I will say. He's doing very well here. I think Toby picked up an Ash Blossom there, which is really unfortunate because the Silver Castle was summoned from the hand, not the deck with Welcome. Because normally, like, Ash Blossom is quite harsh there, and that's a quick concede from Toby. 2-0 here. Skill Drain, Nibiru being revealed. It seems like Matthew was always in control of this duel.
Yeah, what a great opening hand he had there.
Wow, that was a quick 2-0 display from Labyrinth by Matthew. Let's head on over to us here, and I suppose